Peace. Welcome to the culture right here on the Black Star Network. Folks, we got a great show lined up for you starting for the new week. Let's get right into it. First, let's talk about this Uvalde report that has come out that says that there has been systemic failures in the situation of how the police handled that massacre on May 24th at Robb Elementary School. We're going to talk a little bit about it. And of course, I want to get your thoughts on it. Let's talk about the fact that there is no prosecution for the accuser of Emmett Till. We're talking about Carolyn Bryant. Yes, in a new unpublished memoir, she put out there that it was not her intent to have Emmett Till killed. After nearly 70 years, this finally comes to light. We'll have that conversation. Later, let's talk about the fact that Americans are working two jobs right now, and I'm talking about two full-time jobs. You find yourself in that financial predicament. We'll have that discussion. And then later, I'm going to share with you what one Instacart shopper said about a situation, and I want to put it out there. How do you think it should be handled? We'll have that and a whole lot more, so stay with us. It's all happening on today's edition of The Culture right here on the Black Star Network. Let's go. Folks, welcome to the show. Welcome to the new week. As they say, happy Monday here on The Culture on the Black Star Network. So many things have been happening, so we want to jump right into it. We'll be joined by our culture crew member, hip-hop artist and activist, Jules P. in a moment. But this first story, got to get your thoughts about because of the depth of this situation. Now, we had a whole conversation. You remember last week we shared with you, and I'm sure you probably have seen it at this point. It's been all over the news. The video of what happened during that massacre at Robb Elementary School, May 24th in Uvalde, Texas, of how the police handled that situation. The video of the gunman walking into the school and just creating carnage right there in Robb Elementary. And then how the police had 77 minutes of waiting, 77 minutes of trying to figure out who is who and what is what, 77 minutes of pure tragedy. Now, folks, it has come out based on a new report that was released by some of the law enforcement officials in Texas. Let me just share with you, according to USA Today, this was nearly an 80-page report that has come out to detail numerous shortcomings and failures by the Uvalde School District and various law enforcement agencies and officers. Now, this document details a regrettable culture of non-compliance by school personnel and in propping doors open and circumventing locks. Staff and students knew room 111 of Robb Elementary was essentially unsecured and commonly had trouble with locking. The room investigators believe the shooter likely entered through. Now, law enforcement responders didn't adhere to their own active shooter plan and failed to prioritize saving the lives of innocent victims over their own safety. Wow. Now, this is a scathing report, folks. Again, this was released yesterday by the Texas House Committee that was investigating the Uvalde school shooting, where multiple blame has been passed around. And as a result of that, we're looking at a situation where we're just seeing a breakdown like never before. I want to bring in our culture crew member, Jules P., hip-hop artist, activist, to share with us some of his thoughts. And then, folks, of course, we want to hear directly from you, so you can post your comments on our Facebook and our Instagram and YouTube page, and let's get this conversation started. Jules, first and foremost, brother, happy Monday. Good to see you again.
Good to see you too, brother. How you feeling?
I'm all good. So let's talk a little bit about this preliminary report about what really happened on May 24th in Uvalde, Texas at Robb Elementary. multiple failures,
Yep.
systemic breakdowns on the school side and the law enforcement side. Here's the thing. This is a preliminary report, Jules. And when you have a police department that has disregarded its own active shooter plan, you have a school system that knew that it had lock issues, door, entrance issues, of pretty much lack of security in some parts of the school. All of that, and created a perfect storm for this tragedy. What's your take on that, bro?
I think there was more. So the fact that more of this is coming out, because I was actually listening to this morning, before we even got on the show today, I was listening to how the breakdown of the officers and the school, the breakdowns inside the school, the lock situation, and also the officers' plan. And it's like, I'm still putting together the process of information, because the fact that the report that I heard this morning was about, out of and I see the number right underneath us, 376 cops. Out of those 376 police officers, it seemed like all of them forgot the training on how to deal with a mass shooter. Like, that was the most alarming part that stood out to me. That's why you had the incident go on for over 70 minutes. And that's why you had so many casualties that came from this mass shooting, is because by the time the officers got there to react to the situation, they just completely forgot. And this is according to the reports, not, holding blame or accountability to, one individual person. But the fact that by the time you arrived on scene, that you're just, I just forgot how to do the process. I didn't read this part of the book before we entered into the school. And I have my other comrades with me and my chief with me, but there's no real plan on how to attack and how to handle the situation. So, it's just kind of alarming still. Like, I mean, just to hear these reports now, we're looking at weeks later from this actual incident. And it's like, you ask the question, well, how could this have been prevented, or how to prevent this from happening at the next situation and the next school? It's like, listening to these different reports, it's like, how do we address that? Because there is no solid foundation, because now I don't feel confidence in the law system, or is every, not in Uvalde, is in right here in Baltimore or in LA or in my, like, in all these different districts, like, how many officers are actually paying attention to how to deal with a mass shooting situation? Like, what's the protocol? Like, what's going on? So it's like, that kind of alarmed me this morning when I was watching that report, because like, now you hear all the fallout weeks later, and it's like, well, these are the things that should have already been in place and ready to go. So when a situation like this happens, we're in and out, and we already got the suspect. Like, it should be like,
and look, Ariel, let's post this second piece, this second quote, because I'm with you, Jules. It certainly shouldn't have happened. But look at this, y'all. In total, 376 law enforcement officers responded to the shooting. The majority of responders at the school were federal and state law enforcement. According to this new report, authorities included 150 U.S. Border Patrol agents and 91 state police officials. This report also cites a breakdown in communication at the scene and confusion about leadership among police officers from the Uvalde Consolidated Independent School District, but extends fault to other law enforcement agents. What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
So,
like
376 officers on the scene,
and
for one man.
And he still got 19
and
kids.
He still killed 21 people.
Yeah. So
376 officers, 150 Border Patrol, and 90. Like, you're supposed to be trained to know how to handle this.
That's what I said. That's what bothers me.
Wheelhouse.
That's what bothers me the most. I don't get it. This is what your training is.
Just, bro, if nothing else, in being a police officer.
Hey, you know what it reminds me of? So, like, and just not to take light off a situation, but okay, in school we have fire drills. So we practice a fire drill. So when a fire happens, we know what the hell to do, who to follow, where to meet up. I'm pretty sure they practice this type of stuff inside their law enforcement. I'm pretty sure they have mass shooting simulation drills. I'm pretty sure.
Jules, active shooter plans are a part of every major law enforcement agency in America.
Right.
No, I don't care how big or small the department is. You have something in your policy to prepare you because we have so many mass shootings in this country. But the fact is, you mean to tell me the state of Texas that has all of these different agencies, one of the biggest states in the country, have that many people on a scene and nobody can figure out? The crazy part is nobody could figure out, Jules, who was in charge. The dude, and I'm gonna go to this, folks, and folks, we're gonna post your comments in a moment. But this is one of the big issues. No one could figure out who was in charge. The guy that fell, that had to resign, Aragano, he was the reason why. He was part of the confusion. Like they didn't know he was the guy in charge. So it was like this whole crazy situation right now. Just the fact that he had 376 officers, nobody's knowing what to do. 20, bro, I can't, I hate talking about this because it gets me so upset.
Right. Because again, what if my child was there? And that's my mentality. Like, all right, so what do I do? How do I feel safe and confident if I have a child in that school, knowing, all right, I'm sending my child to go to school to get an education, blah, blah, like that. But a situation occurs and they're not safe. And then in the process of them not being safe, this goes on for over an hour. We're not talking about something that happened in 5-10 minutes and he got out of there. This happened over an hour.
Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. All right, let's go to some of the comments, folks. Y'all checking in. Y'all got a lot to say on this situation. So we want to hear directly from you. Let's go to our YouTube page, our YouTube followers, our Facebook followers. Forensic, my guy, forensic accountant, you posted yours first. So let's just share what you got to say. You said that's not just these cops. Cops just want to go home. If they save a life or two in the process, it's a bonus. Damn. Damn, bro. I mean, look, and this is, I get it. We talked about this last week. I get it. But in a case of children,
man, come on.
Like this is one of the reasons you should become a police officer, because if no one else needs to be saved, it should be elderly and children. Everybody else, okay, you can these are two groups of our population, of the community, that can't help themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Elderly, children. If you want to be a hero, save children.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
I mean, seriously, like, what other motivation, Jules, do you need to have as a police officer? You get to save people's lives, but the bonus really is forensic, saving children.
Yep.
I mean, the community that you work in is going to love you forever. Right. You save my children, guess what? We protect you. We help you.
Right, exactly. Comes full circle.
I mean, saving children. All right, let's go to the next comment. Forensic, appreciate you. Shalinda, thank you so much for checking in, sis. You said that's the police was failures. Forensic account, although they started off with the blame game. It's crazy.
And that's what it's turning into. And that's the sad part. It's everybody pointing fingers now.
There it is. I appreciate you, Shalinda. Janelle, thank you so much for checking in. Good to hear from you, sis. You said that Texas congressional report was preliminary and still didn't begin to name who may have been the most at fault. That community was so over-policed that all sense of emergency was gone. So, and I feel you. Here's the thing. If that was the case, folks, then how come nobody was able to take Ramos out before he killed 21 people?
Oh.
That's what I'm saying. You got that much police, 370. You got to remember, let's keep this number in mind, folks. 376 officers, 77 minutes, 21 children dead. 21 children, 19 children, 2 adults dead. 376 people. Oh yeah, let's throw off the really, really important number. 1 perpetrator.
Right. It wasn't a team. It
wasn't a team.
One person, man.
It was one guy.
Man.
Jules, it was not a team, brother. It was
dude.
One guy.
Who got there by accident? Let's stop.
Who had there. One gun.
Yep.
He didn't come in with the grenades. One guy. Sophia, hey, Janelle, thank you so much for checking in. I always appreciate what you got to say. Sophia, good to hear from you, sis. You said, I spent 10 years in the United States Air Force. To this day, whenever I hear a wavering siren, my previous training kicks in, and I've been out another 10 years. They're lying, and they're FOS. That means they're full of it.
Yeah, we know what that means. Yes.
Hey, Jules, I think, don't you got people in your family that serve either in the military or police? Because I got my uncle, he served.
My father. Mm-hmm. My father Vietnam.
Exactly. Once you in, and I hate to use this comparison, but it's like the street organizations. Once you in, you never leave. You know what I mean? Like, once you in, you always in.
Right.
So, my sister, she's a Marine. She came out of the Marines. You never say, I used to be a Marine. You say, I'm always a Marine.
I'm always a Marine. Yeah. I cannot drop an album in 10 years. I'm still a rapper.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So I'm with Sophia. Once you're trained automatic, that's how much you get trained in these spaces. In law enforcement and military, you get trained so much, it literally becomes second nature.
Right.
Like you may not have served, but your heightened sense of awareness. When you go into a space, you're security minded. I mean, that's just that's the second nature that was cultivated as a result of your training in law enforcement and military.
Right. Man,
look, when I saw a dude standing on the wall getting some hand sanitizer, that took me over. He holding the wall up. Getting hand sanitizer like he waiting on a burger or something.
Yeah, man. My man on FaceTime on the phone.
All right. Let's get to Real Brooklyn. Real Brooklyn, good to see you. Sophia, thank you, sis, for checking in. Real Brooklyn, you checked in. Good to hear from you. Active shooter wasn't selling illegal CDs or cigarettes. He wasn't a real threat, I guess. Right. Right.
She said it.
You selling CDs or cigarettes. You get hemmed up. You get your arm in your neck. You get your foot on your neck. You come in walking in there with an AR-15. You get waited on.
Yeah, for real.
Facts. Appreciate you, Real Brooklyn. Race in the Moon. You checked in. Good to hear from you. First time, Race in the Moon. You say same thing at the World Trade Center. Police cowered down while 353 firemen died getting people out, and police telling them to go back to work. The building is safe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming you're talking about 9/11, 9/11. Yeah, bro. Yeah. Janae, thank you. Hey, Race of the Moon, good to hear from you. Janae, you said how you have a whole army, right, of officers present with ammunition and no one had the balls to take charge. FTP all day long. You know what that means, y'all. F the police.
Okay.
Let's go to Lana. Lana, loyal watcher. Janae, I feel your pain. Lana, appreciate you for checking in. Can we talk about how Democrats and Republicans voted overwhelmingly not to reduce federal funding for police? Budget stays the same, but we see what they're doing with it.
I see what she did with Democrats and Republicans right there.
Yeah, y'all see it?
I see what she did right there.
Two sides of the same coin. But Lana, that's true. The President Biden increased funding for police on a federal level. And he didn't say, he said, we're not going to defund the police, that we're going to fund the police. Man, oh man. All right, let me try to get one more. T-Mac, I'll hear you. You said they're afraid of AR-15s and other rifles. If he had a handgun or was unarmed, they have had more carriage. We know how many unarmed black men they shoot. Right. Right. J.T. Mac. Right. All right, let me get Tara because I haven't had Tara. Tara, I think it's Tara or Tara. I want to make sure. Tara asked. Tara, you said, I'm tuning in late. I watched the upload with sound and I cried. I saw police with guns run away from shots, yet there was a recent shooting with an unarmed black man, no weapon, and they did overkill. Can we say Jalen Walker?
Yes, we can.
Can we say Jalen Walker, 60 shots? 60 shots, and he had his gun in the car.
How many police officers were that shot him?
60 shots.
Wasn't 376 police officers.
That's why I say they didn't really want to shoot this man. They were waiting for him to walk out the door.
Yeah, okay. As long as we know.
Look, we got to take a quick pause. When we come back, folks, let's talk about something else that is probably going to infuriate you. The latest development in the murder of Emmett Till, Carolyn Bryant, who has never been charged. There has been a new development, another announcement made about her prosecution or lack thereof, and the impact that it has on this story based on an unpublished memoir that was found. I'll share with you the details of that. Stay with us. A whole lot to get to in the second 30 of the culture here on the Black Star Network. We'll be right back.
Don't you think it's time to get wealthy? I'm Deborah Owens, America's Wealth Coach, and my new show on the Black Star Network focuses on the things your financial advisor or bank isn't telling you. So watch Get Wealthy on the Black Star Network.
Pull up a chair, take your seat. The Black Tape with me, Dr. Greg Carr, here on the Black Star Network. Every week, we'll take a deeper dive into the world we're living in. Join the conversation only on the Black Star Network.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jackie Hood-Martin, and I have a question for you. Ever feel as if your life is teetering and the weight and pressure of the world is consistently on your shoulders? Well, let me tell you, living a balanced life isn't easy. Join me each Tuesday on Black Star Network for A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie. We'll laugh together, cry together, pull ourselves together, and cheer each other on. So join me for new shows each Tuesday on Black Star Network, A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie.
It's time to be smart.
Roland Martin's doing this every day.
Oh, no punches!
Thank you, Roland Martin, for always giving voice to the issues.
Look for Roland Martin in the whirlwind, to quote Marcus Garvey again.
The video looks phenomenal, so I'm really excited to see it on my big screen.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
I got to defer to the brilliance of Dr. Carr and to the brilliance of the Black Star Network.
I am rolling with Roland all the way.
Honored to be on a show that you own. A black man owns the show.
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
I'm real revolutionary right now. Roland was amazing on that.
Stay black. I love y'all.
I can't commend you enough about this platform that you've created for us to be able to share who we are, what we're doing in the world, and the impact that we're having.
Let's be smart. Bring your eyeballs home.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
You dig?
All right, folks, welcome. All right, folks, we've been, I wanted to switch gears and have a conversation about something else that may infuriate you and just as much as it has bothered me. This is about the latest development in the killing and murder of Emmett Till. Now, folks, this has been a case that has continued to just go through all types of twists and turns for nearly 70 years. And so it has recently been determined by the prosecutor in, let me make sure I'm pulling this up correctly. Check this out, folks. Mississippi, no plans to prosecute Carolyn Bryant Dunham and Emmett Till case. This is based upon the continued evidence, but is also considering, now this is not based upon that, considering a new piece of evidence to show that Carolyn Bryant was responsible for the killing of Emmett Till. I want to share with you a little bit about this. Now, first, let's talk about what the prosecutor said. And Ariel, let's post that quote coming from the Attorney General there in Mississippi. She said, quote, "There's no new evidence to open the case back up." This is from Michelle Williams, Chief of Staff for Attorney General Lynn Finch. She told the Associated Press. Now, look, Carolyn Bryant Dunham, or now known as Carolyn Bryant, when she, at the time that Emmett Till was murdered by her husband and her brother-in-law, John Bryant and J.W. Millam, Carolyn Bryant was 21. Now, based upon a new unpublished memoir, Carolyn Bryant revealed, and check this out, folks, she denied wanting Emmett Till killed. She said she tried to help Till after her husband and brother-in-law abducted this Chicago teenager. Let me share with you what she wrote in an unpublished memoir about the situation. She said, quote, "I did not wish Emmett any harm and could not stop harm from coming to him." Listen to this, folks. "Since I didn't know what was planned for him." Now, this was in a manuscript compiled by her daughter-in-law. She said, quote, "I tried to protect him by telling Roy that he's not the one. That's not him. Please take him home." She claimed in the manuscript that Emmett Till, who had been dragged from his family's home at gunpoint in the middle of the night, spoke up and identified himself as being the one who made the violation against Carolyn Bryant Dunham. She's saying that she did not want Emmett Till to die, even though she also claimed that her husband and brother-in-law dragged Emmett to her in the middle of the night at gunpoint, dragged it to her and asked her, "Is this the one?" She claimed she told them no. I want y'all to think about this, folks. This case is 67 years old, and she claimed that she wanted Emmett Till to live, but yet she could not stop the actions of her husband and her brother-in-law. I want to share with you very quickly, and then we're going to go back to Culture Crew member Jules P. This is what Deborah Watts, who is a cousin of Emmett Till and who leads the Emmett Till Legacy Foundation, this is what Ms. Deborah Watts had to say. She said that the unserved arrest warrant and the memoir are new evidence that show that Carolyn Bryant Dunham's involvement in the case. She said, quote, "I truly believe these developments cannot be ignored by the authorities in Mississippi." The other part of this, and what Ms. Deborah Watts is speaking of in terms of this unserved arrest warrant, they found in the basement of the courthouse an arrest warrant that was never given for Carolyn Bryant Dunham. It was unserved. There was an arrest, of course, of her husband, her brother-in-law, but she goes free, even though she was the accuser. Let's bring in Culture Crew member Jules P. to talk about this and get your thoughts as well, folks. There's a lot to this story, Jules, but more importantly, I think the words of Carolyn Bryant Dunham is the most is the important part of this conversation. She said it in this memoir that was yet to be unpublished, but she said that she did not intend for Emmett to die the way he did. She did not identify him, and she claims this in the memoir, that he identified himself. How can we rely on the word of a woman who lied, who already lied? Now you put out and you didn't even publish the memoir. They found this memoir in the basement somewhere, among some other files around this case. So you didn't even try to push this memoir out at a time that, for these past 67 years, this has been kept quiet. And now you want us to believe that you wanted Emmett Till to stay alive. What's your take on this, bro?
So I'm gonna give you a perspective that I saw this coming, and the reason, like I said, I've seen this coming. Did we not forget about 2 years ago? It was about 2 specials ago from Dave Chappelle. This is how he ended one of his specials. He talked about Carolyn being on her deathbed and admitting that Emmett Till didn't do it. So this was 2 years ago. So now, ironically, the memoirs have been found now in 2022, and now it's being brought to light. And I'm like, hey, wait a minute. Now it all makes sense to me, because it's like, now ironically they've been found. So she didn't, come out herself and, admit it and, release the memoirs herself, I should say. But she did admit on her actual according to Chappelle's, his closing, I'm not gonna say closing joke, because I love the way she does his jokes, his comedy. He does a history lesson. So according to Chappelle's lesson, she was on her deathbed or laying on the bed, sick and ill, and she admitted it. And then everything came back to light, because he was talking to another person in the audience about knowing that part of history in American history, not just Black and African American history. He said, knowing this is a part of American history, and knowing that an innocent young boy had got killed, had got beaten, and then thrown into a lake, and found days later, and the mother had an open casket funeral to show the town what was done to her baby boy. And it's like, now we're talking 2 years after that Chappelle comedy special.
Yeah.
This is really like, this is real. Like, dog, this is real. Like, she's really had a memoir buried in her basement admitting to this the whole time. And that's crazy to me. Like, we're talking, like you said, 67 years. Emmett Till would be alive today. He'd be 70 years old. Well, he would be in his 70s, correct?
Yeah.
So he would be alive today. He would
Yeah.
still be fully alive and well.
Bro, he would be alive. He would be, God would be with him if he, it's, so this is one of those cases that defines the civil rights movement, right? This is one of those, in every movement, there's always one of those moments, like a milestone moment, or a moment where it's like a tipping point. This was a tipping point moment in the civil rights movement, when Ms. Till decided to show the world the ugliness and the savagery of racism, of Southern racism, right? So this was that type of moment. So, as much as, like, the big thing I think we could take from it is that Emmett Till life, he didn't die in vain. Some people would even liken his death to the death of Trayvon Martin, being a tipping point to having a different conversation about police brutality. Right. And I can understand why some people might think that, linking the two. But the fact remains that this woman has been walking around for nearly 70 years with the lie, with one of the most infamous slangs of the 20th century. That's the big, I think that's one of the big things. And for her to put out, well, for her to even mention in this memoir that she tried, I mean, this is just a slap in the face, folks. It's an absolute slap in the, I cried no crocodile tears for Carolyn Bryant Dunham. I have no crocodile.
Try is a word I hate.
I have no crocodile tears for her, man.
I hate the
word. I have no tears for her. The other part about this is, and this goes back to the Attorney General there in Mississippi, the Justice Department did open the case again without filing any charges and they closed the case, according to Ms. Williams, because of their decision in December to end it, because they didn't see any new evidence. But that was December. This is July.
I about to say we're in July 2022.
So this could be another way to open this up. You know what I'm saying? Let's go to the people who've been tuning in. And I want to hear what you all got to say on this. Post your thoughts on our YouTube page and our Facebook page. All right, let me go to Mike V. Ariel, let's post Mike V's comment, please. Mike checked in. Mike, good to hear from you, brother. You said the energy used to capture elderly Nazis should also be used to capture Brian as well. Same outcome too. Karina, you checked in. Mike, thank you so much, bro. Karina, you checked in. You said for that one reason out of many alone, it defies all comprehension how Black men flock towards white women. I don't care who will be mad at me for saying it either. Very powerful. Very powerful. Real Brooklyn, you checked in on this one as well. You said, look, that woman needs to tell the truth about what happened that day. I believe what and how she played a role in this really needs to be told.
There you go.
I would love to know why and how she lived with this.
Right.
It is to that end, Real Brooklyn, it is fascinating, right? How somebody can hold a lie or hold the truth in for so long, right? Given the nature and the magnitude of this case. That is the fascinating part. There's a part of me that's like, damn, you really lived with this. You really carried this. You're gonna go to your grave. Mm-hmm. And we might see that Dave Chappelle moment, like you mentioned, Jules, happen. She's gonna be on her deathbed and be like, you know what, I lied. Mm-hmm. We may see that, but to hold it for nearly 70 years for a situation like this, knowing the significance of this case.
And you got somebody killed, man.
You got somebody killed, a movement was started.
Come on, man. Like, that's the part.
Lives have been destroyed. Time has been put in, law enforcement time, Department of Justice. All of this stuff has been put in, and you holding on. That's how far people will take a lie. I know she lying. She does need to tell the truth. She needs to tell the truth, but we may never hear the truth, bro. Hey, Real Brooklyn, I'm gonna be honest with you. We may never hear the truth from Carolyn Bryan Dunham. Hey, Janae, you checked in and said no tears, agreed, no pity, no care, no love, no justice. I'm right with you, Janae. I don't have no tears for her. I have no tears for her. It's like I told y'all. Remember that gentleman. That Jewel, I don't know if you saw the hearings, the January 6th hearing, and one of the followers of Trump, he came on there and talked about he lost his house, he lost his job of his participating in January 6th. He ain't get no tears from me.
He went for that.
A lot more. Hey, look, Black people have lost a lot more for just thinking about running up on the White House.
You know what the problem is, Farajii, and that guy, January 6th hearing guy, because I'm not even going to address these people's names, but he saw the Kyle Rittenhouse tears.
Kyle Rittenhouse tears. Oh man, pity me. I was wrong about Trump.
Mm-hmm.
No, but that's not about January 6th. This is about justice for Emmett Till. This is about getting some resolution. And look, and I know this might be a very, very harsh. I hope it doesn't come across as harsh. I really don't hope that this is the case, but the Till family may need to just accept the fact that this lady may never ever get jail time. And that's us for us too. As Black people in this country, we might just have to accept that fact that look, we may never need this lady may never get no jail time for this crime that she has caused. We might just have to take that. So here's we know the truth though, but that we might just have to take that.
Here's my question. So like if All right, so seeing how, and I also understand that aspect too, that she might not, she's not going to get jail time. I'm pretty sure, but I feel like enough of an uprising, enough of a voice can be stirred up to where there can be some type of justice given to the Till family. I feel like that's where we're getting to the point where it's no longer going to be like, I'm not looking for, like, she's already like, it's kind of sort of like at the age you're at, like you're already close to your time anyway. So it's like I don't really want to push for jail time, but I also want to understand that you have to first openly admit that you were wrong, which again, like I said, has been known for about 2 years now. Because like I said, if Chappelle ain't discovered something, then I probably wouldn't even been too much in tune to who she was. But because of Chappelle's special, that's why I know who she was. Because like you admitted that he didn't do it. He didn't grope you. He didn't holler at you. He didn't whistle at you. Like where are we getting this knowledge from? So I feel like there should be some type of justice that's given. And like I said, I'm not a lawyer. So, for the audience, don't look at me to be the legal expert on what happens or what the protocols are. But I do feel like there's a time and place where the Till family should get proper justice, seek from what this issue is, whether it be financial, whatever the case may be. There's ways to do this for that Till family. Because we know that jail time is not going to do anything. All right. So she admits it and we send her to jail. That's not going to solve nothing because the man was slain so many years ago and she was able to live on, like you said, with that guilt that she's had this whole entire time. I don't know how she's able to do it. I don't know how she's able to live. They always say karma's a bee, but apparently it must not have got to her. I don't know her personal life, but for you to be able to carry that this long, that's insane to me. But I feel like there is some type of justice that needs to be directed towards the Till family for this type of thing. Like I said, I'm not looking for the jail time. I just don't see the jail time happen for somebody that's had to deal with this over this amount of time. Like I feel like you've dealt with your personal jail time, living with this guilt. That demon inside of you is your jail time. So, but there should be some type of something for the Till family to have an outcome from the situation.
Well, and I'm with you on that too, Jules. I mean, because I'm a true believer in this, that even though we may not see justice, implemented in a situation, especially a situation like this, right? Because we don't live these people's lives. So anytime an injustice is caused, it may not be seen by us on the outside. We read these stories, we hear the news, but we don't know what's going on. You know what I mean? I'm thinking about George Zimmerman. Like he could publicly present himself any type of way he wants to, but we know, see, justice never sleeps. So I know that his life is not going to be the same, even though he's not behind bars. He's not getting good sleep. His life is a wreck. Carolyn Bryant Dunham, her life is a wreck.
Right.
She's 88 years old. She can't go into her golden years of her life in a state of peace.
Right.
I'm a true believer in that, bro. Like I don't have to see your demise because I already know it's there. I already know. You can't commit an injustice like that and lie to the world, lie to yourself. I just taught my son that lesson this morning, bro. I'd say there's two people you can't lie to. You can't lie to God and you can't lie to yourself because you ain't going to have no internal peace. We know that.
Right.
So you could tell me anything you want. You know what I'm saying? You can play the game and act like it's cool and act like you moved on. Bro, once, and Jules, you and I have had conversations like this. Man, you can't run away from when you've done wrong to people. You just can't.
Right.
This woman has never gotten a day of peace since she made that accusation.
Right.
Since she lied.
Right.
And you know what? Even though I may not see her pain, her struggle, her trials, I'm good knowing that justice never sleeps, bro. The Till family is going to get their justice, God willing.
God willing.
But they may not get a justice in a way that we want to see it with, like lockup. Because even then, like you said, like, okay, so you lock an 88-year-old woman up at this point. What is that going to do?
Right.
What is that going to do? She's 88.
And
she
like,
goes into the lockup this year, she dies in the next year. You know what I'm saying? Like it's.
And like any family says, is like whether you lock her up, whether you give, you know, a financial gift, it's not going to bring Emmett Till back. So the family also understands that aspect. It doesn't matter what you do, it's not going to bring him back. But there needs to be some type of justice for this. Like, come on, like
but what's the justice? What is? And I see people say that they disagree with me, and that's fine. But what is the justice that you would want? And I'm gonna pose that question very quickly to all of our watchers. What is the justice you would want for this 88-year-old woman at this time? And I mean being realistic.
Being realistic.
I mean, seriously, what would be justice right now? Because this, to me, this is out of our hands, right? Like his family have tried. They have created a legacy foundation that is advocating for prosecution. Okay, none of these people want a prosecution. This is not just even about Carolyn Bryant Dunham. This is about the American legal system too, right here, Jules. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't even see the value and the significance. Okay, fine, we got you on that, America. Bet, like bet. Okay. We're gonna have to take an L in the courtroom for this one. Okay. But do y'all really believe like there's no justice going to be served for the Till family? I mean, seriously. Seriously. And see that, I mean, and I think as Black people, we got to tap into that spiritual side of us, which is, look, you know what I'm saying? You gotta, it's in God's hands now.
Right.
When you got the opportunity to do the right thing and you continuously choose to do wrong, bet. Cindy Bay, LLC. I'm looking at the folks in the chat. Cindy, you said public admission of her guiltiness, money for the family. Okay. I mean,
that was what I was thinking of. It's like at this point, financial is like the only thing you can get from this because of how long ago the situation happened. It's like financial. Because like I'm with you. Like I get the question that you pose, and like I'm sitting here really in deep thought. Like, yeah, what justice am I going to get so many years, so many decades later? Like, besides admission, what would justify the life of my son? What would justify the life of my nephew, the life of my cousin? Like, what would justify that? And I'm like, I'm just thinking, like, I'm thinking financial at this point. Like, it has to be a financial rip. And I mean, directly from Carol. Like, it has to be like, nah, like, give me your house. Like, it, like you stripping your house, like something. It has to be.
I don't know. Like it doesn't. I don't know. Hey, look, Karina, you posted something. We're gonna respond to that very quickly. You said Bill Cosby served time for shit that happened 40 years ago, but Carol's ass is warranted. FOH. I know what you mean by that. Right. So, Karina, it's not. Again, there was obviously a prosecutor that decided that Bill Cosby needed to be punished.
That was a joke too. His whole.
You see what I'm saying? So there was a prosecutor that wanted to see that happen. But if you got prosecutors that decide they don't want to move forward on this Emmett Till case, right, and actually prosecuting her, like, okay, I don't know what other recourse. She go to jail. She dies in prison. We take money from her family. She probably don't even have no money. Let's keep it real. It's not like she's been writing books,
right?
Had a TV show. You know what I'm saying? She's been on a speaking circuit.
Right. You haven't heard her name until now. So yeah, you're right.
Her name has never been associated with anything else except for the killing of Emmett Till.
Right.
So, and if the prosecutor, again, this is an indictment just as much against her as it is on the American legal system. If the prosecutor says that they are not going to press charges, if that was the same case in Bill Cosby's case.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Pam G posted, "Hey Pam, you said who's going to enforce monetary punishment?" Exactly. Who's going to enforce this? And I'm not saying that we should be in a state of hopelessness. I'm not saying that. I'm just simply saying that if you got this system of justice that decides not to do anything, even though it's the right thing.
Hey, I'm
beyond the point. Hey, Jules, and I don't know about you, bro, very quickly. I'm beyond the point of just getting money. Getting money for the violations against us is not enough for me in 2022.
Yeah, so you know, so crazy you say that. I literally just look at her net worth right now. It's $10,000.
$10,000.
That's her net worth right now.
Guess who's going to have to pay? The state of Mississippi.
Mm-hmm. It's $10,000. That's her net worth. So
okay. So now we got to go to the state and say, okay, not only for the killing of Emmett Till, but for all the killing of Black people from this time to that time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if we're gonna make it a serious situation,
yeah,
let's go hard. Let's go all the way in.
I've seen pain and suffering cases come out with millions, so you know.
The Mississippi owes.
Yeah, facts.
You know what I'm saying? Like, where are we gonna get them? The state would have to pay for that.
Yep, sue the state.
You know, again, the name of Carolyn Bryant, it's like I said, she's not gaining anything at this, and she probably tried. But she can't go anywhere. She can't go anywhere. Just know that when she finally take her last breath, she know.
Mm-hmm.
She know. You're gonna have to deal with that. You gonna have to carry that. And I get it. George Zimmerman, on the other hand, take his ass to jail.
Yeah, this dude.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but guess what? We ain't pushing for that though. How come we not pushing for George Zimmerman? For something. You know what I'm saying? Like for something.
He's still out here thriving.
You don't even hear about nobody beating his ass up or nothing. I mean, you know, there isn't even no street justice. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Come on, man. Let's put this thing in proper context. All right, look, we got to take a quick pause. Folks, when we come back, let's talk about how Americans are now in such a financial or dire straits financially, that now we're finding that there are a number of Americans that are doing 2 full-time jobs due to inflation and due to gas prices. We'll have that conversation. And then later, I'm going to share with you the story of one Instacart shopper. And I want to get your take on what Instacart should do to handle this situation. So stay with us. A whole lot coming next on the next hour of The Culture right here on the Black Star Network. We'll be right back.
Don't you think it's time to get wealthy? I'm Deborah Owens, America's Wealth Coach, and my new show on the Black Star Network focuses on the things your financial advisor or bank isn't telling you. So watch Get Wealthy on the Black Star Network.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jackie Hood Martin, and I have a question for you. Ever feel as if your life is teetering and the weight and pressure of the world is consistently on your shoulders? Well, let me tell you, living a balanced life isn't easy. Join me each Tuesday on Black Star Network for A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie. We'll laugh together, cry together, pull ourselves together, and cheer each other on. So join me for new shows each Tuesday on Black Star Network, A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie.
Pull up a chair, take your seat. The Black Tape with me, Dr. Greg Carr, here on the Black Star Network. Every week, we'll take a deeper dive into the world we're living in. Join the conversation only on the Black Star Network.
All right, folks. Welcome to the second hour of the culture here on the Black Star Network. Are you feeling the strain of rising gas prices, rising food prices, inflation? Are you feeling the strain of trying to keep all the balls in the air? Are you feeling the strain? Are you feeling like, you know what, I'm just not making enough money, not bringing enough income, it's not coming in to survive? Well, folks, let me just share with you, you're not the only ones. According to a new look at where we are in our economy, workers are picking up extra jobs just to pay for food and gas. This is according to the Washington Post. They show, check this out, Ariel, let's post some of the statistics on this issue. They're saying that the tight labor market has pushed wages up across the board, but it's not enough to keep pace with inflation and with gas prices. So check this out. The percentage of employed people working multiple jobs in the United States has steadily increased since March 2020, from 4% in April 2020 to 4.8% in June 2020, according to data from the St. Louis Federal Reserve, although it has not returned to its pre-pandemic levels. Now, in February 2020, 5.1% of workers in the United States held 2 or more jobs. While people taking on multiple jobs is typically a sign of a healthy job market where workers have more job opportunities available, it is also a sign of increasing financial strain on Americans' pocketbooks. And so I wanted to have a conversation about this because, you know, folks, I personally find it fascinating to take a look at where we are in this country when it comes to work in the job market. You know, we've had discussions about 4-day work weeks. We've had discussions about the importance of companies to keep up with the rising prices of gas and the rising prices of consumer goods. But we're still seeing that there is this sluggishness. And I was just having this conversation with my wife this weekend, that we're living in a country that we often tout to be a country of innovation, a country of we hold this country to its highest esteems in terms of human rights and human services. But when it comes to issue related to this economy, it seems like all of that seems to just go out the window. And as a result, we're seeing more and more Americans on the bottom trying to make it. More and more Americans who feel like they got security losing their sense of security. And more Americans who are just being separated from the struggles of the majority. And I'm talking about those who are sitting at the top of the pyramid. And so as we look at all of these issues, folks, I wanted to have a conversation around this and how do we find some resolution to the economy, and more importantly, how do we bring some balance to the issue of the imbalance of this economy, inflation, and so much more. Jules, I want to bring you back into this conversation. As we look at Americans working 2 jobs, sometimes you're talking about some people working 2 full-time jobs. Gig work is on the rise across the country. People are saying, look, I'd rather go out, pick up some food, pick up some people, do some gig work on the side after I come off from the 9 to 5 just to keep things going. Where do you see this going, bro? You know, what do you see? Do you see this going into a direction where people are going to feel like, you know what, enough is enough? Or do you think this is the government is going to intervene in some way, shape, or form? Like, where do you see this whole trend going?
I will hope that the government intervenes. So I feel like we picked the perfect day to talk about this because I'm on the show. So literally, as of Black Friday of last year, I was working 2 full-time jobs. So I was working an overnight job and I was working a day shift job. So 80 hours a week just to sustain a healthy living in Baltimore. It was tough for those who, you know, haven't worked a full-time job, 2 full-time jobs. I give you a little rundown. Literally, I'm about sacrificing, probably get at most 4 hours of sleep a day. That's the most I was usually getting after working 16 hours a day. And, you know, it's the cost of living. It was literally not just even just food and things of that nature. But I mean, look at rents, look at your mortgages, look at it's like the cost of living is outrageous. And
it doesn't have to be.
It does not have to be at all. Like it is. I'm like the days of when I'm like when I had my first apartment. Like this is again now we're talking. I'm about to date myself. Years ago, my rent was like $690. That was like $700. I think $700 was my first rent. You can't even get a decent one bedroom for under $1,000 now. If we're talking about apartments, and then everybody's pushing you to get housing. Of course, I'm in a nice house, so I get it. I love to push the house aspect as well, but not everybody has the financial means or the credit score means to get into a house. So they have to get apartments. They have to rent. And rent is outrageous. I mean, if you're not dealing with a private landlord, you paying for 1 bedroom. Well, let's do 2 bedroom. You're doing probably, I want to say, up to maybe a good $1,300 to $1,500 for a decent area. And that's also what it is too. Because we were having this discussion at work. It's like you're paying for peace. So the more it's looked at as the more you pay, the peaceful you are as far as just living standards. I'm not even talking about food. I'm not talking about gas. I'm just talking about just living in general, whether it's your rent, whether it's your mortgage. It's like the more you want peace, the more you're definitely going to pay. Whereas if you're looking for just a place to stay and it doesn't matter to you what you're dealing with, then you're paying a little bit more of a reasonable price, but you're dealing with all the headaches of the surrounding areas. The cost of food alone, even during the pandemic, when I was working in certain jobs, it was like, you weren't even getting restocked on stuff that you've been buying for years and years, decades. It's like that stuff wasn't even on the shelves no more. Shelves were empty, but then the stuff that they had in the stores, they were marking up because they took such a hit during the pandemic. And that's what is going on with not even just food. That's just businesses in general, whether you're trying to do flights, whether you're doing events. It's like everybody took a hit last 2 years. So it's like now everything is, and I said this when it happened, I said, hey, y'all got to think there's always going to be a reverberating effect that's going to affect us in the long run. It's not going to affect the businesses because they got affected now because of what they're dealing with. So everything's gravy now, but years down the road, we're going to have to pay for the mistake, for the suffering that the businesses had to pay for. And that's what we're dealing right now.
I'm glad you said that, bro. And here's why I'm glad you said that, bro. We all took a hit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And look, look, y'all know I made a transition. And one of the things I've been hearing, people say, well, companies, mortgage companies, rental companies, this company, they really took a hit in 2020. So,
right.
So, hey, look, maybe it's and I know some of y'all probably jump out on, when I hear the term like socialist, but so what about the people?
Right, exactly.
You worrying about, first thing, let's keep it real, folks. Corporations are not living entities. They're not people. They're businesses. That's a dead thing. Like, it's not like, Comcast, AT&T, or any other corporation are living, breathing organisms.
Mm-hmm.
These are businesses.
Mm-hmm.
In business, you win, you gain, you lose. That's the nature of business, right?
Right.
So, and to that point that you just made, because I've heard that people's like, well, these companies, they took a hit. Well, if it wasn't for the people, you wouldn't have the company.
Right. There you
go. So, okay. So, yeah, they took a hit. But as the American people, we're taking hits with an S. We're taking more hits. So we should be penalized for a pandemic that we did not cause. Right? We should be penalized for that. And I please excuse me, people say, oh, that's just capitalism. That's just capitalism. This is why we need to have a conversation about capitalism.
Mm-hmm.
Because when a situation like this happens, and look, I'm of the, hey, y'all can agree with me or disagree, but I'm of the thinking that I think there's more coming down the pipe to hit America in the gut, right, than we want to believe. I don't think that this country, and I'm not trying to be, to rain on anybody's parade, I don't think this country is going to ever go back to what we are used to in 2019, 2018. I don't think we're going back to that point, folks. I think COVID was the first hit, And we're going to have a couple of more hits to keep on coming. So there has to be a very important conversation that we need to have about the economy, about capitalism, about how we see people in this larger system. The government has to intervene. The companies can't be continuously looking at their bottom line, and then you expect Americans to sacrifice our financial well-being because we want to uphold some companies. That's not living. Please.
You know what I wonder? So, like, I wonder if the country is trying to force people to now be more adaptive to the times. So let me use an example. I worked at a company for 10 years. You hear stories about our parents that worked at jobs for 20, 30, 40 years. There's no longer none of that anymore. People are now bouncing job to job or opportunity to opportunity just to stay afloat because the jobs are, and I see in the comment that said, I mean, like our wages aren't getting any higher. Like the crazy thing to me is, and this is like, this will blows my mind, and I'm not gonna mention the company's name, but a company that I work for found a way to cheat us even more for our work ethics. So instead of giving us our wage scale based on like, you know, $1, $2, $3, they did it as a percentage of what you already make.
Damn.
So they said, hey, you've been working good for a whole year. Your evaluation was good. You performed very well. Here's a percentage, and this is the raise that you're going to get. So you look at that percentage and like, oh, okay, let's see what these numbers then. And when you break it down, that percentage only equaled up to a 26-cent raise.
Wow.
And I'm not going to mention the company's name, but it's like, so for all my hard effort, so you now took away that me getting $1 extra every year, or me getting $2, or you had incentives on certain days, we get an extra $1 or extra $2, like, or overnight you had differentials and all that. So you took all that away and then found a way to now combine our raises into this lump sum payments given out. Now you're giving out as a percentage. So no longer you see $2, $3, $4 raises. People are getting anywhere between 15 to 30 cents. And it's like, hey, do you know that, again, let's bring it back to people who rent. Every year your rent goes up. Most people between $30 and $80. Some people, depending on where they live at, might be even higher than that.
Right.
So my rent goes up, let's just say on average, $50 a year, and you give me 26 cents as a raise. I can't even afford to pay my new rent for a whole fiscal year.
Wow. Bro. Joe, when you break it down like that, and
Man.
that's the and look,
I'd have been through some things, man.
That's the part that I want us to look at, because it feels like you're just getting screwed over.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? Like we're gonna do a percentage, and you're like, oh yeah. And then you really look at the math, and you're like, bro, the math ain't mathing.
Math ain't mathing.
Man, like what 26 cents?
I had to move.
Look. Let's add to it, folks. There was a huge conversation. I know in the state of Maryland, there was this big conversation about $15 an hour. Everybody's like, oh, fight for 15, fight for 15. Okay. $15 an hour is not acceptable in modern day America.
Mm-hmm.
Let's look at it. I think that's less than $30,000 that you're bringing in.
Mm-hmm.
What person who has a family or don't have a family can really live off of $30,000 a year in modern day America?
That's what they're not telling you. And this.
So check this out, Jules. So you got politicians who are like, oh yeah, okay, we'll do the 15.
That's the problem.
Okay, all right, yeah, we heard the American people, and we'll give you $15 an hour. And $15 an hour in cities like LA, New York, man, you barely getting by. $15 an hour. You go down to Atlanta, Houston, Dallas. Y'all know where it is, right? Hell, Birmingham in Alabama. I see you checking in. Y'all talking about, I don't know who posted it. Let me just go back to it. One of our watchers, Jules, said $1,600 in the Oklahoma area just for rent. Like, so when you start looking at it, now when did Oklahoma become
right?
Part of the rent rising conversation, right? Like some places you expect low rent, you know what I mean?
Right.
Bro, if it's hitting places like Oklahoma, places that you and I wouldn't think about in terms of some of these, the big urban centers of America, that's not enough. We really need to have a conversation about $25 an hour if you really want it. If you want to keep it real.
There you go. But I had that.
Now. We can't do $15, man.
Said that. Right?
Hey, look, I got people, man. I know in Baltimore, people were excited about getting $17 an hour for minute. Man, I'm making 17. And I'm like thinking to myself, bro, you still in the poverty stage.
Mm-hmm.
Sis, you still struggling.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, and I want to share with, and my man Damon checked in. He said 31,200. Damon, is that the $15 an hour? About 31,000? That ain't enough because once you do taxes, you're under 30.
Mm-hmm. Probably at
you're under 30.
You probably at
22. Hey, look, my wife was an educator in the state of Maryland. They would tell her, you're making this amount of money. But after taxes, dues for being a teacher, all these other, your benefits, all this stuff, her paycheck, she got a third of her paycheck as a teacher. So when you start looking at certain professions, even the profession itself puts a demand on you. It's crazy. And then you wonder why people are upset. We went out to dinner, Jules, and the person that was waiting on us was actually a certified teacher. She told us that. Certified teacher. Waitressing.
To sustain income.
Shit, you might see me delivering food.
Man.
You be like Farajii Muhammad.
So can I give you a breakdown? So can you break? I'm gonna give you a breakdown. Let me show you, because again, I'm still living in this. I got the most to say because I need some answers. But so a key point you said was the politicians making these $15 an hour. We're fighting for it. All right, what to give it? Okay, when the last time that politician made $15 an hour? They don't even understand what it is to live on a lower level because they're making their salaries and making their absorbance amount of money. So they don't understand where we're coming from. So you can't listen to, like, a politician can't make that decision for us. Let's start there. Two. So during the pandemic, so we had this. I like to create ideas that I just like to float out there. So have conversations. So I said, hey, while we're working through this pandemic, which is a time when everybody lost their jobs, and then all of a sudden jobs became available, but people weren't going back to work because of all the A, B, and C, blah, blah. Okay, whatever the government was saying, fine. I made a deploy that everybody that worked during the pandemic, the federal government should take off our federal taxes for that year, so we don't have to pay federal tax, because that's what's killing us the most. They're getting their money off top.
Right.
So why don't you just give us our gross for a whole year? Okay, not for a whole year. Give it to us for a couple months. Give it to us. People still have parents. People still have children. So October, November, December, getting ready for the holiday season. Why not take off federal taxes so these parents, even though during a pandemic time when they're struggling to get this income in, they can still provide some type of joy for their children instead of having to work two jobs and say, hey, I can't do it this year, baby.
Hey, Jules, you know the saying because your mom said it, and every adult we grew up around said it. That's too much like right.
Too much like right.
It's too much like, let's keep it real. It's too much like right. It's too much like right to expect the government to really care that much about the American people. That's too much like right. And it's sad. It's sad to say. And y'all can debate me on it. But that's sad to say, bro. Like, we And for those of us who have such hope and faith in the government, we do, because this is election season. This is, I mean, we just got out of the 4th of July, but the government ain't doing enough. But we will look at other governments across the globe and talk bad about them, as if the American government, the United States government, has this track record of defending human rights, has a track record of making sure that people have livable wages, has a track record of defending the interest of the poor.
So you do know, and me and my lady have this discussion all the time, you do know that the only way that the United States stays in power is by putting us in debt. That's why we live in these type of conditions we live in. So that's why we get charged so much for school. That's why we get charged so much for interest on credit cards, because the more you keep us in debt, the higher power they become. But I'm not just saying anything everybody already knows. Carry on.
Hey, there we go.
I'm not saying nothing everybody already knows.
There we go. All right, let's go to some of our watchers. Janelle checked us in. She said, out of touch politicians claiming that Americans are flush with pandemic savings and stimulus money. The government needs to raise poverty guidelines and companies need to raise wages. Facts. Mm-hmm. Janelle, you're right on the money, sis. You are absolutely correct. Out of touch. And how does a politician get out of touch? Because if we start treating them like celebrities and rock stars instead of like public servants, then guess what happens? They become out of touch. We change the culture of the relationship between the constituent and the public servant. We determine what that relationship is. We dictate that relationship. Not them. We do. Thank you, Janelle. Real Brooklyn. There's a lot of people who are living way beyond their means. Some folks should know they do not need the latest iPhone, Netflix, the illest ride, or dining out every night. Just saying. Yeah. I think we need to have a conversation about personal accountability. And Real Brooklyn, you know that in the Black community, that could be touchy sort of conversation.
That's going to ruffle some feathers.
Because guess what? That's part of the vices of us as a people to try to get through the day-to-day. Hey, man, let me just get at least a new iPhone. Hey, man, let me just watch this Netflix show. Because the day-to-day burden. So if you start disturbing people's day-to-day, way of handling life, the realities and the hardships of life, hey, you better be ready for a fight, bro. Because you take away their day-to-day, you take away their little thing that they come home to, the thing that keeps them going. Get ready for a fight. Hey, thank you, Brooklyn. Good to hear from you again. PN checked in and said, and Farajii, it feels crazy because they keep saying the economy is healthy. Healthy for who? I don't know why they keep saying that BS. I've heard politicians say that since I've been an adult, folks. Healthy for who?
The rich get richer.
PN, thank you so much. Pam G, you checked in. You said as long as wages fail to keep up with inflation increases, this will be our new normal. Ain't that right?
Yeah.
40-year high for inflation, right? Guess what, folks? Did anyone ever say that this thing is coming down anytime soon? Nope. I'm like Jordan Peele's new movie. Nope. Pam, thank you so much for checking in. Nisa, good to hear from you, sis. Nisa, you checked in. You said American people taking body blows while corporations take slaps on the wrist. And guess what? They want us to create. And look, let me tell you, this is how business do. They want you to feel something for corporations, like corporations are living organisms. They want you to feel for a corporation. They want you to try to understand and empathize with a corporation, a business entity that is made up of people. They try to humanize corporations. Here at so-and-so, we understand your pain. They only understand your pain when you can add to their gain. Keep that in mind, folks. Nisa, good to hear from you, sis. Mocha, I knew Mocha had to check in. Mocha, it's good to hear from you. You said, look, I've been at my job for 25 years. They give us raises by percentage also. They take that money back, though, through raising the medical life. Now, ain't that?
Yep.
They be like, we'll give you a raise, but benefits are going up too. So you got to pay for that.
Yep.
Come on, man. That's sad.
So you working the same.
I'm going to say it, man. When companies act like that, that's very satanic, man. Because you forcing people to make decisions, right? You're putting people in a back against the wall. That's crazy. Mocha, I'm feeling you on that, sis. Thank you. Willie, my man, Willie Frazier checking in. Willie, you said, look, my question is, how can you charge higher rent for places that were built 30 years ago? Throw in some countertops. FOH. Right. Right. They want you to pay higher rent, and the cabinets look like they from 1970. Them old white and brown, some cabinets, Jules, big white, and they got the brown trim and shit, and they talking about, man, we got state-of-the-art kitchens and bathrooms.
I got a funny story to share with you off air. I got a funny story about that.
Please. I ain't paying for them old-ass cabinets, man. Nobody paying to rent those. You know what I'm saying? They increasing rent. And then the property manager get mad when you start questioning them about the rent. Man, we got all these things. I don't care, bro. That was your decision to go in business, not mine. You know what I'm saying? Like when you look at rent in this country, rent doesn't have to be this high, man. Seriously, it don't have to be this high. It don't have to be this high at all. You go in the States, I mean, whether you call them California, New York, Maryland, why is rent so high? And then nobody has this is my big grievance. I got to start, and this is to my producer, Shannon. Shannon, we got to have to do a segment called Grinding My Gears.
Grinding My Gears. Right with you. Right with you.
Because the people just need to get something off their chest, man. Look, what grinds my gears is that rent, people in states across this country act like they have no power control over rent. You have no power control over rent. To get back to Willie, what you said, property been there 30 years. You ain't made an upgrade, a renovation. You ain't create nothing new been brought to the property for the past 10 to 15 years. Now you talking about you got to increase because the Stop lying. That grinds my gears, man. Now you had to go up. You had to go up $300-400 on some rent on the same property that's been here for 30 years.
No adjustments, no renovations, no nothing.
Please. And it's just sad. It's really, really sad. And you know what? And this is the conversation I had with my wife. It's going to get to the point, Jules, that the poor, the working middle class, we're going to get to a place where we're going to say enough is enough. We're going to say, you know what? We ain't paying no more taxes. We ain't going for this. There's going to be a revolution in this country. Mm-hmm. Let's study the reasons that major revolutions have started all across this world. And one of the big reasons is because people could not maintain a decent, respectful quality of life. Once you start to infringe on the quality of life of people, and I ain't talking about lavish living, I'm talking about just basic stuff, people are going to revolt. They're going to fight back. There is going to be a revolution in this country around economics, around rent, around the issue of just trying to stay afloat. And if the United States government is not going to intervene anytime soon, trust and believe it's going to be a target. If you ain't going to be an ally, you are going to be a target.
Right.
A revolution is brewing, folks. And it doesn't even matter whether you're black or white. It's going to matter whether you have or you don't have. That's what it's going to come down to. A revolution is brewing in this country. And the crazy thing is, this government, these officials, if they don't see something that's coming on the horizon, they're going to be caught. They're going to be caught. It's going to be like Game of Thrones. You ain't see the White Walkers coming. Somebody's been sounding the alarm. The next thing you know, they right up on you. Please. All right, we got to take a quick pause. When we come back, let's talk about Instacart shoppers. Stay with us. It's The Culture here on the Black Star Network.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jackie Hood Martin, and I have a question for you. Ever feel as if your life is teetering and the weight and pressure of the world is consistently on your shoulders? Well, let me tell you, living a balanced life isn't easy. Join me each Tuesday on Black Star Network for A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie. We'll laugh together, cry together, pull ourselves together, and cheer each other on. So join me for new shows each Tuesday on Black Star Network, A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie.
Don't you think it's time to get wealthy? I'm Deborah Owens, America's Wealth Coach, and my new show on the Black Star Network focuses on the things your financial advisor or bank isn't telling you. So watch Get Wealthy on the Black Star Network.
We're all impacted by the culture, whether we know it or not. From politics to music and entertainment, it's a huge part of our lives, and we're going to talk about it every day right here on The Culture with me, Farajii Muhammad, only on the Black Star Network.
Pull up a chair, take your seat. The Black Tape with me, Dr. Greg Carr, here on the Black Star Network. Every week, we'll take a deeper dive into the world we're living in. Join the conversation only on the Black Star Network.
All right, folks, for our final conversation tonight, I wanted to talk about something I saw trending. One of these interesting stories, and it made me say, you know what? I wonder what the Culture crew has to say about this situation. All right, so it's about a young woman who is an Instacart shopper. And well, you know what, Ariel, I want to let this sister tell her story, because she was a shopper for Instacart. And she got a big order, and then it just went south from there. Can we play a little bit of her TikTok?
I'm so mad that I'm literally shaking. Like, do you see my hand? I've been crying because sometimes I do Instacart on the side to make money when I'm bored and when I have time. And so this morning I turned around like 8 a.m. and I get a notification from Instacart, and I was like, there's a new batch, like go to the app to accept it, basically. So I go, and it's a batch from Central Market, and it's like a 125 item like batch, which is a lot of freaking items. And then on top of that, the tip was really good. The whole order in itself was like $191. So of course I took it, even though I was like 125 items. That was going to take me forever, but whatever, I'm going to take it because it's good money. $191. So I'm about 60 something items into this batch, which is a lot. I've gotten like a bunch of produce, which if you've been doing Instacart, you know produce takes so long because you have to go up and down, find the exact amount number. You have to do the weighing of the produce, and all of this in Central Market is a freaking maze. Like, bad. It's a bad maze. And so I've spent all my time doing this. And I get done getting all the produce, and I've gotten all the meat in Central Market, which you have to like physically go up to like the counter, and they take the meat out for you, and the fish and stuff, and they package it freshly. I've done all of this, and then all of a sudden the order like goes away, and it's like, this order has been canceled due to inactivity. And I'm literally like, I had just scanned an item, like, kid you not, 5 seconds prior to this. So I'm like, what do you mean inactivity? And so I get on customer chat or whatever, and I'm like talking to the person. I'm like, hi, I don't know what happened to my batch. I need to be put back on it. It says I was inactive, but I wasn't. I had just scanned an item. And the guy was like, we can't find your batch. Like, you've had no batches. And sorry. You have no batches. And I was like, I was literally in the middle of a batch, and I like sent him a picture of my cart, which here, I'll insert it. This was my cart, which it looks not as full, but like there's groceries all at the bottom right here. And just, I was stacking it, piling it on top. And he's like, I don't see your batch. And I was like, I was literally just on it. And so he asked me the name of the order, and I tell him. And then he says, we can't give you the order back. The customer canceled it. Part 2, because I hate when people make you wait. So, as I was saying in the prior story time, the customer had canceled the batch, which means that like all of the 60 items that I had already gotten were now like, what was I supposed to do with them? I had spent an hour and a half already shopping and getting everything to the customer standards. I was even messaging he, I don't know who it is, he, she, I don't know, throughout the whole thing, like making sure that I'm getting the exact items they want. If something is out of stock, I'm asking them, is it okay if I replace it with this? They're responding. So like, they know I'm on the order. So the customer chat was like, they canceled it. And I was like, okay, well, I still have a cart full of groceries. I've wasted my time on this now. And it was an $191 order that I would have gotten when I'm completing it. But now I don't even get to complete it because they canceled it. But I'm not even going to get that $191. And I've wasted all of my time doing this. And so I'm telling customer chat, like, I don't, like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I'm not even getting the whole compensation. He's like, well, we can only compensate you batch pay. And I'm like, well, how much was the batch pay on this? And he was like, $7. I said, $7 is not going to cut it. I've spent so much time wasting my time shopping for this order. What do you mean $7? And I was like, you can give me more than $7 for this order. You've given me more than that to go return an item to a store when the customer wasn't available to receive the item. So like, how do you pay me more to return an item to a store, but you can't pay me a little bit more than $7 for a batch that I'm in the middle of? I can't control that the customer canceled it, but you're like a $1 billion company, like Instacart, like people use Instacart, like you have money, like why can't you compensate me for my time that I've already spent doing this? Like, that's what I wasn't understanding. Like, I'm not asking you to pay me $191, but even not like $20 they couldn't give me for this said order that I had already shopped for and wasted my time for, and they just allow the customer to cancel in the middle of the freaking batch. That is not okay. And the customer service guy started getting snappy with me, and he was being rude, which I will add screenshots in the next video because it's not going to allow me to have time. But I am livid. I'm livid. Because he was being so rude to me for no reason. I'm like, you were sitting at home, probably working from home, sitting on your butt. So basically, I'm going to show the screenshots of what the help person was telling me. And he basically got snappy with me. And
You want to go? Because I got... I got a lot. They can dial me up right now. You want to go? You want to start it off? I can go. Because I'm on 1,000. I'm on 1,000. What? As soon as and
okay, so that was Malia Gibbs. That was Malia Gibbs, and one of the things that Malia is really upset about is after she spoke about the situation, she ended up being fired just around this situation, even though it's sad. She couldn't be an Instacart shopper anymore, folks. She was told she was only going to get paid $7 for this huge order. She speaks out, and they prevented her from making any other shopping requests.
Yes, man.
So I wanted to bring this up because, you know, in light of what we just talked about in the last conversation about people turning to gig work, and now you have companies that are providing gig services responding to folks. I just wanted to get folks like what do you think should be done? What should Instacart do? You know what? I think I've only used Instacart, Jules, maybe twice. And that's when I actually had COVID, and I had we had to order some food. And so that was like last year. I think it was like once or twice we did that. But to hear this story, it was like, I was like, damn. Bro, I don't know. I don't know whether it's a policy thing for them, for Instacart to allow big orders like this. And then if a person cancels, like, I don't know. I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let you go because I'm still trying to figure it all out.
Okay, so you ready for this? So
go
I'm
ahead.
about to go on for a real quick second. So me not knowing the actual situation behind, I mean, I'm going based off her words. So you know what they always say is 3 sides every story: her side, their side, and then some people say the truth, some people say what actually happened. Okay, fine, cool, whatever, Dandy, fine, it's done. My issue was this: as a company, if I'm doing a service and I'm reporting to you, and I take the proper protocols and the chain of command to go through, and then I have a grievance and I file for that grievance of what I dealt with and what I should be compensated for, and then for you to turn around and then let me go, that's another example of these companies not giving an F about us. And the bigger the company, the more they don't care about the people that are actually doing the work. I've been saying that for years. It's the bigger, whether it's your I don't want to. I'm not. I had to stop myself. I was about to start naming names of companies. I'm a chill because I was about to say it. But it's literally the bigger the company, the people that are actually doing the work on the bottom scale don't mean nothing. That's why it's so easy for you to let people go. If I'm doing the service and I'm reporting back to you on what occurred, I'm saying, yo, I'm in the middle of scanning, and it just clunked out on me. You don't have to wait for the meat to get cut and processed so I can put it here. You see everything I got in the cart already, and then you're telling me that, oh, it took too long to lag, and in the process, all of a sudden it gets canceled. And on top of it getting canceled, the batch that I'm getting paid for that was $191 to begin with, I'm only gonna get $7 from. You already know I'll be on 1,000. I'm not even. It's to a point like you can't even go to the daggone company because y'all don't care. You're not gonna fight for my right. I gotta fight for my own right. And that's again to tie back to the conversation we just had. That's the problem. People are working 2 and 3 jobs, try to sustain in this economy, but we're working 2 or 3 jobs that we freaking hate because they don't give a damn about us. We need the money, but they're treating us like crap on these jobs. And that's
hey, look. Let me just share with you. All right, so Jules, I get it, bro, because I can see the fire in your eyes, brother.
Man,
fire in your eyes. All right, so here's what we got. Let me just share with you with some of our comments that are coming in because folks are checking in. I mean, hey, look, I bring you this up because I wanted to show the complexity of these type of situations. This thing has gone left. This thing's gone way left. But Janelle checked in and said, look, personal shoppers are told the contingencies ahead of time. That's the gig. All right, Janelle, you my sister. All right, I want before I respond, I want to make sure I understand exactly your context of this comment. Are you saying that she should basically suck it up because that's part of the job? What are you saying to that? I'm gonna give you a chance to respond before I respond. So I'm gonna just put that on hold right there. Percy. Just Ariel, let's post Percy's comment. This Percy Miracles checked in and said, this generation is so entitled. Where's the entitlement?
I'm about to say, can she explain that one?
Percy, where's the entitlement?
I'm about to say, can she explain that one? Yeah, explain that one to me.
Because a person is just doing their job. Where's the entitlement? Do you think that is entitlement because she wants more than $7 for a $191 shopping bill? Where's the entitlement? And you said this generation is so entitled. Damned if you do, damned if you don't, Jules. Here's a young Black woman that's working the job. Now, if she wasn't working the job and complaining, you would be like, she's entitled. But she's working the job. She's willing to do the job. And then you still say she's entitled. Percy, explain yourself. Okay, Rashida. She's bitching, but I feel for her. Rashida. The sister just said she got 125 items in the cart. She had to get 125 items. She did the work.
Again, man.
Why? She can't be mad about that? And then how Instacart responded?
That's the point I'm focusing on. I understand that orders get canceled and things happen. I get that. But she went through the proper protocol of explaining.
That's what she's supposed to do.
And they treated her like as if
her.
Whatever.
See,
and that's
his and look, bro, this is and Rashida, you know you one of my loyal watchers, so I don't want you to take this the wrong way. But this is why the culture of work in this country is where it is. And here's what I mean by that. If we just accept what companies do to us and just say, well, that's just how things are, or she needs to just be quiet, then nothing will change. The culture of work in this country has always been that whatever the company says goes. Whatever the worker says is up for negotiation. And what I'm saying is we need to change that culture.
Right.
Whether it's about wages, whether it's about a 4-day or 5-day work week, whether it's about taking time off for pregnancy or maternity leave or whatever, like we need to change the culture of work in this country because it's not speaking to the needs of the people who are making the company great.
There you go. And it's not even just like, I feel like it's, and not even just focusing on this situation. I know people are very opinionated about how she's talking about what she dealt with in the situation, but this happens on every job. This happens on my job. This happens on jobs I've been in previous times. It's like you're also allowed as a person, I don't care what your company says, I don't care what you think that you're supposed to do under the leadership of supervisor, management, whatever, but you're also allowed to speak up when something is wrong. You don't have to take the BS that people give you. And then you're also allowed to, if you feel like this is not the position or place that you want to be, you're also allowed to move and find something better, which I know a lot of people do. We just wait it out and then we go to our next opportunity. But I'm for the people part. So like I've been working for people my whole entire life. I'm not an entrepreneur.
Okay, but see, that's the place I'm at.
Yeah,
that's
like,
the place that I'm at.
Yeah.
I don't get it. All right, Mocha, you checked that back in. Mocha, you said I've never used Instacart or any other service like that. I get up and go to the store. I'm sorry, there are too many lazy people sitting at home micromanaging. Well, there is a value at Instacart, right? Like convenience. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can go up to the store, but I mean, look, let's keep it real. If you home and Amazon can bring it to you the next day, you're going, you know what I mean? It's about convenience, right? That's a personal preference. You want to keep getting to the store, finding a parking lot, going out in traffic. That's totally up to you. I get why people order stuff offline, though. I do. I truly. There's an extra service fee. If people want to pay that extra fee for that convenience, so be it. That's a personal preference. Not going to get mad at anybody for that. Vincent, you checked in. Mocha, thank you so much, sis. Vincent checked in and said, look, good for her. One door closes, another opens.
There you go. There you go.
It is.
There you go.
But guess what, though? I'm gonna keep this one comment reserved for myself, Jules, because this is why it's important for us to even have this conversation. Forensic, check it in. Forensic, you said all is fun and love and war until it's you in the battle. Right.
Facts. Facts. Forensic. Facts.
Let your money get funny from the job.
Mm-hmm. You look at
you be
somebody
on all types of social media.
That's all I'm saying. You look at somebody else's situation. Yeah, she might have been extra, whatever, but let that have been you.
Let your money get funny from the job.
Mm. Let your check be short $1 and see you not wild out. Like, come on, man.
Percy, you said how many people have been treated badly by an employer? Okay, Percy, now I got to respond. Does it make it right? It don't matter, bro. It doesn't matter. Because here's the problem. If we keep tolerating getting treated badly by a company, then the company will never change. The company won't feel any level of accountability. The company won't feel like they have to change. One bad person getting treated by the company, it should be enough. But if you got a number of people that are being treated by the company, it ain't the people, it's the company. Why do we defend business entities over people? Why do we do this? Why did we get into a space of defending something that is built by people for the service of people over actual people?
Mm-hmm.
I don't get that. You want to defend a structure over somebody's personal life? You can always create the structure. You can't get, once you break down somebody, once you disrupt their quality of life, that's hard, man. People can't always bounce back from that. You could build a company. But that's capitalism. This is why capitalism is destructive, because you start to look at people as being disposable and then companies as being inevitable. It's destructive.
Can I give you for the watchers and listeners, can I give you a opposite side of that too? So also in these companies and the corporations, the reason I am the type of manager and supervisor that I've been for the past 10, 15 years, whatever, when you have companies like these type companies that are, people view as corrupt or, they're money hungry bodies like that, the one good thing that I've noticed is sometimes you do get good general managers, CEOs, whatever. And the one good thing that you have in that is then they pass down good things and knowledge to you, and your job is to pass it on to others. So speaking on this situation specifically, if I was in her shoes, you take what you get from this situation. I think the one person said the comment, like one door closed, another opens. Yeah, the way you went about it. I mean, that's this new age. They do social media for everything. I'm not that type of person. Like once I handle my situation with the higher ups, then I move from there. I don't do that whole social media going on, talk about, that's not how I get down. But in her aspect, she needs to capitalize on, all right, well, let's just go into another opportunity. Let's go to another position. And then the same practices that were used against me in this company, when I move my way up into my next business venture, that I make sure I spread a new level of thinking and pass down to the next person, so they don't have to deal with what I dealt with. That's how knowledge and that's how it's supposed to be passed on. But
absolutely. Great point, bro. Janelle, you said there are other services that have luxury pay structures. Instacart is a bottom line budget service. It is. It doesn't take away the fact that they should be held responsible for treating people fairly. I could name to you a number of bottom line budget services in airlines and in other industries, but you still should treat people fair.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a bottom line principle. You know what I mean? Turner family. You checked in. The young lady at anyone in a gig business has to read the fine print. I get that. But she should be at least compensated for the effort because that wasn't her fault. Like, she getting penalized for something the customer is doing. So that opens the door. So that means that customers can just do whatever, and then the worker gets penalized for something that the customer does. That's not fair.
Right.
Maybe the customer should not be allowed to use that service anymore. Maybe the company, Instacart, should say, you know what, in this case, because you put in the work, you did, you follow the rules, we gonna give you a little bit more and penalize the customer. Why are you gonna penalize the worker?
Right.
Why do we hate workers in this country? We always talk about people like, man, you gotta work hard, pull up your bootstrap. But then I'm gonna say it, we shit on workers.
That's what I keep on.
We shit on workers in this country, man. And you know what I'm saying? We just treat employees like they just nothing. And then we wonder why people are so upset. You can't keep treating people wrong and then expect them not to retaliate in some way, shape, or form. I'm just so sick and tired of this. You know what I mean? Like, you could just do people wrong, and I'm talking about in a work setting. You can just crap on people, and then you think it is cool. Yeah, I'm gonna just crap on you, and then I'm gonna move up. I'm gonna get what I need to get from you, and then toss you to the side after I'm done with you. Okay, let's see how far that gets us in modern day America. Very quickly, Lou, you checked it and said, I understand her opinion. Company rules win. Why should they? This is a young black woman. I mean, damn, y'all mad at the sister for expressing her discontent with a policy that's really not equitable.
And for a company that makes enough money if they wanted to give her $191 back for her service, they could.
They ain't even got to give $191. They can give her and say, all right, here's $50. Just
right. I'm just saying, but they have enough. Like, it's a blemish. Like $1 billion and $191 is a pocket change.
Y'all mad at the sister for expressing her discontent? Karina said, we very often don't think about the victim until we become them. Our worldviews rarely change unless it directly impacts our lives. Ain't that the truth?
That's the truth.
That's the truth, Karina. Like I said, let your money get funny. You be on Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, on the corner talking about, man, they ain't had to do me like that. I gave 25, 30 years. And we all know somebody that have given a lot of time to these companies, and then your severance package is BS. Your retirement plan is BS.
Mm-hmm.
Or they don't even give it to you, talking about, well, COVID took up the money, so therefore they give you a freaking retirement party and a mug.
And a pen.
And a pen.
And a pen.
And a pen. You can't forget the pen.
And the pen.
And the pat on the back and say, good job. And we're supposed to walk away happy. Like, our parents worked for companies like that. Our parents and grandparents, they worked for manufacturing companies, and they did that hard collar work. They ain't get no retirement plan. They ain't get no 401k. They ain't getting nothing except a good job. And we like, oh, but the company though. Please. Rashida, you say I use Instacart. I'm not lazy. It's good for heavy items. I can't carry anymore with no car. I walk to the supermarket. Facts. That's why people use it. I'm not going to get mad at anybody that uses it. That's why people need it. Aaron, you checked in. Rashida, thank you so much, sis. Aaron, you checked in and said, I've done Instacart work and the cancellation is negotiable. In some instances, I stopped working Instacart for this reason. Bingo.
There you go. Somebody who understands. There you go.
That's the reason. You treat people bad, don't expect people to perform at their highest level. Let's stop giving these. And here's the thing. Here's what I was going to say, Jules. The reality is you're dealing with a generation of young people. You a young brother. Y'all know how to, you know how to use social media. to throw some shade on some company. And as a result of that, see, that's not something that is a part of the work culture in America. For years, our parents have had to deal with issues, work-related issues from a company that they work for, that they give their time for, that they miss family time for, right? They had to eat that. But this is y'all a different generation. I get it. So the moment there's some violation, you're going to automatically go on social media and put that company on blast. And guess what? I applaud you for it. I applaud the sister for it, because we can't change the culture of work if we just tolerate the BS coming from these companies. If you want to change the culture of work, if you want people to be treated fairly, put them on blast. She might get fired for this, but I guess what? Instacart bet you they're going to change their policy on canceled orders. But the fact is, if people stay quiet when they are violated, then guess what? Nothing will ever change. It's just that simple.
They pay us to stay quiet.
They pay you to stay quiet.
They pay you to stay quiet.
And you mean to tell me, I don't care what the salary is, that your voice is for sale?
I done left salaries. I done left real, and let the listeners know, I done left real good paying situations for not dealing with some nonsense.
And so your voice is for sale. Your expression, your discontent, you be dissatisfied as hell, instead of saying, you know what, this ain't right. This ain't good. This ain't good. This ain't cool. You think about all the workplace issues, sexual harassment issues, pay inequity, all of those things, and you stay quiet and you don't say nothing, but you tell your family, you tell your friends you work for a great company, and you push them into that madness. Come on, man. Come on. No, sir. 2022, baby. No, sir. We're not doing that no more. If a company is treating people unfairly, you put them on blast. You just let them know, like, look, I'm not. You speak up. You say something.
All right.
Whether you're during your time with the company or when you're walking out the door, but they should be able to hear your voice. You do not get quiet. As human beings, it is against the very nature of a human being to stay quiet, to not express ourselves. That's against our nature. And it's against the right to speak, the freedom to speak. So you use your tool, you use your voice as a power. Let's not get into that space, man. Come on. Let's not just go along to get along with these companies that don't give a damn about black labor. Come on, Jules. I worked at enough places to know you don't give a damn about black labor. And as a result of that, you want me to stay quiet, and you want me to just to keep my pain inside? Not today. Not today. I'll walk away and blaze that joint. Be like Angela Bassett from Waiting to Exhale. You'll see the fire in the background, baby. Just oof. I'm walking out the door, but the place is burning down. Be like, that's the last black person you disrespect. Man, oh man, Jules.
You had a nerve,
bro. Brother, thank you, man. You've been riding with me, man. I love it. Thank you so much, bro.
No problem, man. No, you had a nerve. You had a nerve to go these last two, man. These last two done struck a personal nerve from my life of working. So I'm like, all right, let me calm down now. Show is over. Let me calm down. I done had some messed up experiences, so let me calm down now.
I hear that, bro. I hear that. Hey, look, man, I love and appreciate you, Jules, and thank you for being so good for the culture, man.
All righty, for sure. You know how we get down.
Absolutely. All right, folks, that's going to do it for me as well. I thank each and every one of you for being a part of the conversation with us this afternoon. Make sure y'all continue to support us, Black Star Network at blackstarnetwork.com, Black Star Network online. You can continue to support us financially, or you can also add to our support by sharing it, downloading the app on all of your personal devices, including your television, and more importantly, to share with your friends and family to let them know that we are rocking and rolling and that we need them. We need them to sign on to the great work and the dynamic programming we got happening here at Black Star Network. So make sure y'all go to blackstarnetwork.com. All right, tomorrow, folks, I got to have a big conversation. It is election day in the state of Maryland. Big races are going to be discussed. We got a new governor that's going to be possibly coming in for Baltimore City. We're talking about a new state's attorney. So there are a lot of big things that we're going to have tomorrow. So we'll have that conversation about election day in Maryland tomorrow, as well as bring back Dr. Gerald Horn to give us an update on everything from the Russian war to some other issues and his new book. So we'll talk to Dr. Gerald Horn about that. All right. As always, folks, make sure y'all stick around. 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time is Roland Martin Unfiltered. As for me, never be afraid to challenge what's wrong. Stand for what's right while being yourself in the process. God willing, we'll talk tomorrow for another exciting edition of The Culture right here on the Black Star Network. Talk to you soon, family. Peace.